Why would you spend thousands of dollars on a beard transplant when you could just get some minoxidil? Use your common sense. Right before I started using minoxidil, my beard looked like this. I know, it's pitiful. But after using minoxidil for a year, my beard looked like this. Now we're getting somewhere. And then present day, this is what I got. Obviously, I need a trim. I need to edge up, but that's the best problem to have. Get you some minoxidil.
I know on Friday I said I was gonna get box braids, but clearly things didn't go as planned, and I can explain. I did one line of box braids, did my second line, and immediately I was like, you know what? I don't have time for this. When I should be relaxing, I don't want to have to deal with my hair. And then I was like, I should find a braider, but I was like, it's last minute and I want to get it done today. So I stuck to my old faithful, and that is crochet. All synthetic, never human, because y'all know how I feel about human hair, but I do want to eventually get a braider, a personal braider, because I've just realized that what I thought was something I could do for myself, I no longer have interest, as in zero interest in doing box braids on myself again. At least for right now. Back to the video though. Now, a lot of y'all, majority of y'all are women, so we'll see if this topic is something you guys are interested in. And that's partially why I only focus on topics that deal with women, is because I'm a woman myself, I can relate. But in this video, I hope you guys enjoy the topic that I've prepared. Quick disclaimer, as always, I am not a doctor. I'm just a woman who does some digging, and today I am digging into the world of the beard transplants as I'm looking at them right now. So if you're considering getting this procedure, make sure that you are talking to a professional who knows what they're doing. If you are a wife or a girlfriend, make sure your boyfriend gets the research done before he decides to get himself a beard transplant. And before he thinks of getting a beard transplant, let him watch this video or two. You guys are probably wondering, what are you up to? Just you wait. I forgot I had this. I did all that anyway. So your man is probably trying to get a beard. He's been trying all the vitamins and all the oils for ages, and nothing is working out for him. His beard is still looking patchier than a middle school's first time attempt at facial hair. No offense to him. Turns out there's no shame in the game, because a lot of men are going through this where they're going to get their beard transplants as a quick fix. Now, beard transplants have been blowing up for a while now, honestly years, whether it's a quick patchy growth, covering scars, or just looking kind of like the guy who belongs in a Viking movie. They've been around for quite some time. So as far as I've researched, most beard transplants use a method called FUE, which is follicular unit extraction. Goodness gracious. See, this is why I just stick to the basic FUE, because my accent and I fight every day, especially when it comes to words that I don't use on the daily. So please bear with me. Now, although this word may sound fancy to some of y'all, it's as straightforward as it can get. The doctor typically takes hair from the donor area, and it's usually in the back sides of your head or in the back, wherever your hair is thickest at. That's where the doctor is looking to get your hair. And then they relocate it to your face, hence beard transplant. And what they do is they remove each individual follicle, which is amazing in my opinion, and then place them where your beard needs to be boosted pretty much. It's kind of like a super precise gardener trying to plant the seeds accurately so you look like a perfect cute garden or handsome garden, whatever you want. Okay, that's pretty much what's happening here. What's fascinating about this procedure, at least in my opinion, is that all this is done while you're awake, but don't worry, you're not gonna feel anything as far as I've researched. So if you're scared of needles and you've never thought of getting face tattoos, this is nothing like it, or at least it shouldn't feel like any of that. I'm trying to give myself a beard, obviously. Now, as you can imagine, this does take a few hours, and the number of follicles you need does depend on how much your face you're wanting to work on. Pretty much the outcome of your beard transplant, it all depends. Do you want it bushy? Do you want it thick? Do you want it crisp, like how I'm trying to do it? It all just depends on what you like for your garden. Sounds better when I say garden instead of beard transplant. I don't know, but anyway. And then afterward, the transplanted hairs will start growing just like a regular beard does. And in a few months, your patchy spots will be history. Nothing for you to remember. And you'll be rocking a full, more uniform beard. And everyone will be happy, because, especially your wife, because if you're happy, then she's happy. I called my husband earlier and I said, would you get a beard transplant? And he said no. And I was like, why? Not that I want him to, I really don't care. I honestly would prefer him not to, which works out for me, but hey, maybe a different story for you. Anyway, his reasoning was because he'd have to go bald for a few months at the back, and that's just not a risk he's willing to take, if you even consider that a risk. So if you're married or you are a girlfriend, just go ahead and ask your boyfriend if this is something he would ever consider and why, and then let me know in the comment section below. It's not like I'm gonna be there saying no, don't get it. I'm just curious, and so are you that's watching this video. All right, just like any other procedure, there is always a downside to these surgeries, transplants, whatever. When it comes to beard transplants, there are a few side effects, if I may say, but they're very common. There's things like swelling, redness, soreness in the area that was transplanted, as you guys can imagine. So that's really about it that I can think of, at least. The best way I can put it, it's almost the feeling you get when you have a pimple that overstays their welcome. They were never welcome, but now that they're here, you want them gone and they're never leaving. Or what is those people? A squatter. There you go. Well, a squatter, you don't really want a squatter to begin with in your house, but it all depends on the situation. Some squatters overstay their visit and they become squatters. Another thing you might also experience is some scabbing, itching as things heal up pretty much. And a pro tip, resist the urge to scratch. I know it's gonna be hard to, but there will be an infection if you don't follow what the doctor is ordering you to. So just be careful if this is something you're interested in. Ooh. Get this beard right, honey. Don't mind the patches, my transplant is healing. One thing that might catch you off guard is the shock loss. Yes, it sounds dramatic, but it's not. It's when transplanted hair actually falls out in a few weeks after your procedure, but don't freak out, don't freak out. It's totally normal and they'll grow thicker and better after a few months. So the recovery process was actually shocking in my opinion. It is not as intense as I may have thought. All you need is a little bit of patience. And after the procedure, you need to be as gentle as you can with your face for a couple of weeks. So like I said, you may experience a little scabbing, but the area will look a little funky when it heals, but afterwards you will be pleased for the most part if you go to a professional with the results. Most guys typically take a few days off work just in order to chill and let their face recover. Now, one thing I did not say in my disclaimer that I will say right now, I am not condoning this hair transplant. I was just curious. I need to emphasize on that because a lot of people misunderstand me. Pretty much, if you're new here, I am not for cosmetic surgery, okay? If it is an emergency, I'm for it. If it is cosmetic, I could care less about it, but I am very interested in the cosmetic surgeries. What if someone knocks right now and I'm looking like this? One thing my husband will never get is bored because of the things that I always do. All right, now let's talk dollars. I'm enjoying this way too much. You know what's crazier? This outfit was not planned, but it honestly just fits the topic we're talking about today. So beard transplants, depending on how you see it, they don't really come cheap. It's honestly an investment in your beard, your face, your confidence, whatever. On average, you're looking at about $3,000 to $7,000, depending on where you go and how much coverage you need. And typically a lot of guys, they just go to Turkey because it's cheaper. I think there's a guy here that's gonna explain it better than I can. Let's just go to him and then we'll come back.
Show you guys the beard real quick. So this is 3,600 grafts. I think they did just under 3,600 grafts, but I did get quoted for 3,600 grafts. And so what happens is you go and speak with a consultant on WhatsApp, and they ask for pictures. They want to see the donor area. They want to see the area which you want to get implanted, and then they send you a quote, and the quote is going to be based off of how many grafts. You're probably going to be paying less than $1 per graft, depending on the severity of your case, which is completely, just polar opposite compared to your quote you're going to get here in the States, because they're going to charge you about $7 to $9 per graft. And yeah, that can add up really quick. But yeah, it ended up being less than $1 per graft going to Turkey, especially when you include the hotel and the and all the other services and the treatment for the post-op, like the shampoos and the meso serum and all that, which is easily probably $1,000 if you were to buy all of that stuff from another place. So yeah, I saved a lot of money, and you will too. 2,500 grafts could be enough depending on where you're trying to get it done, but make sure you go and get a consultation with whoever clinic you want to go with. I suggest, and they will let you know how many grafts you need. All right, let me know if you got any more questions.
So yeah, as I was saying, some places might charge you per graft, while others might just charge you a flat fee for the entire shebang. Now back to the first video you guys watched with the minoxidil. I'll put the video here without the sound. Just go to the very beginning if you don't remember. He was talking about minoxidil, and one thing about minoxidil is it doesn't work for everybody. So yeah, it may be a quick fix and you have to maintain it. Some people don't. Some people use it for a year and then they're good to go. But what works for one person, as I've always said, may not work for you. So weigh your options, do your research, and make a very smart decision, especially because it is in regards to your face. Let's look into a guy that talks about minoxidil for himself.
So I keep seeing this in the comments that I should have used minoxidil. Well, listen, I'm 37 years old. I only grow a light mustache and some chin hair and then some little pubes that just want to poke out every once in a while after like several months of just not touching my face, and I just look dirty. My family just genetically looks young. All the men in my family have baby face, so it just wasn't for me. I even tried the beard roller, paid $100 for that. If that was something that was going to work, it would have. Trust me, I tried it. But after my surgery, post-op, they did recommend that I do use this to help stimulate new growth. So yeah, I will be using this now that I have the hair follicles to work with.
And there you have it. What works for one person may not work for the other. You may have to go through the procedure and then take minoxidil, as he was saying. And he says baby faces run in the family, which means there probably weren't any hair follicles. You know what I mean? As in like visibly any hair follicles. And anyway, $100 for the beard roller? Who was selling that to you? Because you got finesse. But that is neither here nor there. You got your surgery and I'm hoping that you're happy. This procedure can be a solid option if you're dealing with patchy growth, scarring, or if you just want a fuller beard that you don't have. The ideal candidates for this procedure are guys that have hair on their backs, as in donut area. So if you are a person that is balding, this may not be the procedure for you, as far as I can tell, but I'm not a doctor. Also, if you've got decent health, no major medical conditions that might make the surgery hard for you, then you can go for it. If you're prone to keloid scarring, that is when you have the thick raised scars, a beard transplant might not be the best move for you either. So definitely check with your doctor once again before you get into even being interested in this procedure. So the sweet spot for getting this beard transplant is usually in your mid-20s and up. This is because, believe it or not, your beard might still be developing in your early 20s. So if you're only 18 or 19, you might want to hold off just a little bit to see if things fill in the next years to come. Most surgeons recommend waiting until you're at least 25 to make sure your beard has fully matured before going through with the transplant route. Patience is definitely key. With a little bit of waiting, your face might surprise you. So there y'all have it. Beard transplants are a legit option if you're tired of the patchy look, want to cover scars, or just need to level up your facial hair game. It's all up to you. It is a bit of an investment in both your time as well as your money, but for some people, it's totally worth it. Just make sure you're a good candidate. Pick a solid surgeon to do the procedure and be ready for the recovery process. And hey, by next year, you could be out here stroking a glorious beard while contemplating life like a philosopher. Who knows? Would you, if you are a guy watching this, or would your husband or boyfriend, fiance, go through this procedure? Drop the comments below and I will see you guys on the next one. I am very interested. Also, if you guys loved my look, as in not just the hair, but the beard, let me know. I won't be rocking this beard. Obviously, it's gonna be taken down, unfortunately, but it was nice while it lasted, you know? I felt like I had paint on my face. That's what I felt like. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one.